Sunila. I'm working as Principal FSC and DL in Mathematics at TTWRDC Devarakonda. We are given this task of teaching online through YouTube channel. Everybody is doing that, so it's my turn today to do that. So here I am. I'm going to teach a very simple topic from mathematics, which is very much useful in every subject, every paper of mathematics at UG level. So very often students find it difficult to prove the theorems, even if they know the basic definitions, even if they know what are the prerequisites that are required to prove the theorem. Most of my students especially, they tend to by heart the theorems. So that's what made me take this topic today, because in order to prove a theorem, you don't need to by heart the theorem. You can just look up the knowledge whatever you have regarding the topic, and you can prove it by yourself. So there are some basic methods of proving any kind of theorem at UG level. Almost there are only 3 methods to prove a theorem. Almost all the theorems are proved using these 3 things. So I will start the topic, and before that I want to give an example that from linear algebra example. If we take linear algebra, my students know what is a vector space, what is a subspace, what is an intersection, what is a union, everything. They know everything about it. All the definitions, they know how they are proved, and all how a vector space is proved, how a subspace is proved, everything they know how to solve. But when it comes to a theorem like if V is a vector space and H and K are subspaces of V, prove that H intersection K is a subspace. Then if this kind of thing comes, they know what is vector space, they know what is subspace, they know what is intersection of any 2 sets. They know everything, but by proving the theorem, they tend to by heart it for the exam purpose. So there is no need in doing that, because there are very simple things to prove any kind of theorem. So let's get started with that. So first kind of method to prove any theorem is direct method. And second kind is proof by contradiction. And third one is proof by induction. So in direct method, what we do is we will first thing to prove any kind of theorem before all these 3 things. First thing what we have to do is read the statement of the theorem very carefully. Mostly statements of every theorem are in English. So if you are from English medium or Telugu medium, whatever the language it might be, so if you know that language, you can easily understand that statement. So when after reading the theorem, you have to divide the theorem into parts. What is given, what we are supposed to prove. Some theorems are like that. If something is this, then what is this? Then also prove what is this. That is what some theorems are like that. Or some theorems are directly prove something, so and so. So that we have to read the statement very carefully, and then we have to see which method we have to choose to prove that theorem. So first method is direct method. In direct method, what we do is we will read the statement of the theorem as usual, and then we will use the basic definitions or basic things whatever we have to prove that theorem. Direct method, we will do some assumptions, and then we will directly deduct that theorem. Okay, for example, I will give you a simple example. Let the theorem statement be if A and B are 2 consecutive numbers, then A plus B is odd number. So now we have to prove, it is given that if A and B are 2 consecutive numbers, we have to prove A plus B is odd number. This is obvious. We all know what a consecutive numbers means. Consecutive numbers means numbers which are adjacent to each other, like 1, 2 or 3, 4. Pakka numbers mean consecutive numbers are. So these 2 numbers, if we add 1, 2, we will get 1 plus 2 is 3. 3, 4, 3 plus 4 is 7. So obviously we know sum of 2 consecutive integers is odd number. Now we have to prove it using this method. We have to prove that as a theorem. So even though the statement of the theorem is obvious, some of us tend to byheart the proof of the theorem just to score good marks in exam maybe, I don't know. So now we will prove this theorem using this direct method. These are all obvious statements. First thing, we will use the definition of consecutive numbers. Everything is use the definition of consecutive numbers. First, if A and B are consecutive numbers, then A and B will be A plus 1, right? So, to do the sum A plus B, that means A plus B is A plus 1. This is A plus A is 2A plus 1. So, by definition of odd number is very clear. 2k plus 1 or 2n plus 1 or 2n minus 1, that is the definition of odd number. So now A plus B is equal to 2A plus 1. This is by definition of odd number, this is an odd number. See, very simple. We are using the definition of consecutive numbers by writing A comma B, B is equal to A plus 1. Then we are just directly adding them. Whatever the theorem proof statement is there, like we need to prove, that we are taking and directly we are concluding it using the definition of odd number. So this is direct method. Mostly everything is like that. For example, let's take the example I was giving from linear algebra. There is a vector space capital V, and H and K are two subspaces of this vector space. Now we have to prove H intersection K is a subspace of vector space. We all know by definition of vector space it has to satisfy certain properties like addition properties and scalar multiplication properties. And if H and K are subspaces of, for example, take this is vector space V. Okay, this is satisfying all the properties that are required. That is a different topic completely. That's why I am not going deep into that. This whole thing is a vector space. This whole thing, in order to be a vector space, it should satisfy so many set of properties. 5 addition properties and 4 scalar multiplication properties, and all the elements in this set are satisfying those properties. That's why it's called a vector space. Now they have taken two subspaces from this, H and K. For example, let this be H and this be K. Okay. These two are taken from this, and they are saying these two are subspaces. Subspaces are they have to be vector spaces. These two sets also have to satisfy all the properties of vector space. So now these two are taken, and now we have to prove H intersection K is a subspace. That is obviously, these two sets are derived from this, and intersection of these two is nothing but common elements. You know the definition of intersection, you know the definition of vector spaces and subspaces. You will take the common elements and you will prove that those common elements are also satisfying all the properties. So this is very simple, but please don't byheart, my dear students. So this is direct method. Next we are going to proof by contradiction. In proof by contradiction, again as usual, we have to read the statement of the theorem very carefully, and then after reading the statement of the theorem, we have to see how we are going to prove the theorem. So when it comes to proof by contradiction, first step what we will do is, whatever the statement is given to us, we have to take that statement and whatever we need to prove, we have to assume the opposite of that. If some examples say I have to prove this chalk piece is white color, example. But in order to prove that this chalk piece is white in color, I am considering this chalk piece is black in color, or this chalk piece is not white color. I will consider that, and then I will use the already known facts for me. Like if I write, I am getting white color here, right? So I will use the already known facts to prove that this is not white. Then opposite of that will be proved. So for this example, I am taking very simple examples for you to understand properly. Let us take the example. If n square is even, then n is even. This is very simple example. We are given with n square is even. We have to prove n is even. N is any integer. So we have to prove this. Let us suppose let n is odd. suppose n is an odd number. By definition of odd number, here we have seen definition of odd number is 2k plus 1. So if n is odd number, n must be some in the form of 2k plus 1 or 2k minus 1, whatever it might be. So now we will take this n square is even now, so we will square on both sides. N square is equal to 2k plus 1 whole square. By a plus b whole square formula, applying it here, we will get 4k square plus 4k plus 1. Okay, so k might be any integer, doesn't matter. 4, if we are multiplying k or k square with 4, this is even number obviously. Multiples of 2 and 4 are even numbers. So 4k square is even, this 4k is even, and we are adding 1 to it. That makes it an odd number. That means we got n square is an odd number, which is contradicting our statement here. N square is even, it is given n square is even. But because of our assumption that n is odd, if we are deducting n square, we are getting it as odd number. So that is wrong according to our statement. That's why if this is contradicting the statement. So n cannot be odd, therefore n is even. Okay, this is how we prove by using contradiction method. Next, proof by induction. In proof by induction, this proof is mostly used for numerical kind of things, in numerical analysis or whatever. In order to prove some left hand side is equal to right hand side, we use this method. By English statement itself, induction means inducting. We are inducting the steps. We are proving step by step, and then we will finally conclude whatever we need to conclude. That is proof by induction. So in this, let us consider the example. Sum of first n integers is n into n plus 1 by 2, right? 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus so on plus n is equal to n into n plus 1 by 2. Now we have to prove this. Okay? So for first 3, first 4, first 5, we can easily prove by adding 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus. So if we have n number of integers here, we have to prove this thing. We will use this method of induction. In this, first step what we will do is, we will prove that for n is equal to 1, this is the statement of the theorem. This is statement. For n is equal to 1, we will prove LHS is equal to RHS. Okay? For n is equal to 1. There is only one element LHS. RHS is 1 into 1 plus 1 by 2. This is 1. So 1 is equal to 1. For n is equal to 1, the statement is true. Next, what we will do is, we will assume that for n is equal to k, this statement is true. We are assuming, this is our assumption. Assume that for n is equal to k, it is true, the statement is true. Now we have to prove for n is equal to k plus 1, LHS is equal to RHS. This is the main step in this method of induction. So for n is equal to 1, this as the statement is true means that means 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus so on plus k is equal to k into k plus 1 by 2. This is true. Now for k plus 1, n is equal to k plus 1, that means 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus so on plus k plus 1. We have to prove this is LHS, and RHS is, we are replacing n is equal to k plus 1. So this will be k plus 1 into k plus 1 plus 1 by 2. This is k plus 1 into k plus 2 by 2. This is RHS. Now we have to prove LHS also deduces the same thing. So from our assumption that for n is equal to k, we already have assumed that that is true. That means from 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus so on plus k is equal to this. So this is k into k plus 1 by 2 plus k plus 1. Now by taking by taking LCM, k plus 1 plus 2 into k plus 1 by 2. You can take k plus 1 common. Here k plus 1 into k plus 2 by 2. That's what we got from LHS, and that's what we have here in RHS. So LHS is equal to RHS. So whatever the statement we are trying to prove, it is true. So this is method of induction. Mostly 95% of all the theorems in UG level can be solved by using these three methods. Given that you must have minimum basic knowledge of what they are asking, what we are trying to prove. So if it comes to real analysis, you should know the definitions of sequences, subsequences, etc., etc. And you should just have minimum knowledge of what they are. You try and understand all the definitions using by looking at the things around you. Mathematics is a language of the nature. We all know that. So everything, everywhere we look, we can find mathematics if you have the heart for it. So I hope this lecture inspired you, and please try to prove the theorems by yourselves from next time. Take the help of your lecturers, and they'll definitely guide you if you are not by hearting the theorems. So I hope this lecture inspires you and helps you to prove the theorems on your own in future. Thank you.